Alright, so this is from cdc.gov, Home and Recreational Safety, RX Brief. The title is Policy Impact, Prescription Painkiller Overdoses. What's the issue? Basically, the article, to summarize it, tells you that prescription pills abuse is a problem, knowing that most people aren't going to go to the site to figure that out. And if they do, they'll say, oh, we've been trying to tell you, we're the government, we love you. And so, once, they created the problem and they had the solution waiting already. So it talks about in the second paragraph, these are not isolated events. Drug overdose death rates in the United States have more than tripled since 1990 and have never been higher. In 2008, more than 36,000 people died from drug overdoses, and most of these drugs were caused by prescription drugs. And it goes on to say, where the drugs come from. Other source is 7.1%, but the majority is still the government, overwhelmingly. Who's at most risk? Then it goes on to say prescription drug monitoring programs, which is their solution, which, as you can imagine, complements the Big Brother program to watch the internet, the Patriot Act, etc. And I had this other article. It was from the Huffington Post about Aryan Brotherhood and biker gangs collaborating and being arrested, and how a police officer helped pioneer that gang, and it was a 5-year operation. I'll put the link in the comments. I'm going to make this video shorter. Actually, this is the second time making it. That's why I lost the source. But anyway, as you can see, the way it works is the government uses entities until they're no good to them anymore. Pharmaceutical companies have more longevity than the other groups, like the neo-Nazi groups and hitmen who, like Lee Harvey Oswald, get killed by other hitmen. Jack Ruby, who it came out later had mafia ties, but this is not about that. It's about the connection between the white. When we talk about white power structure, it's an architecture. Okay, Sam Giancana, it came out in the church committee hearings, I believe it was, where he said that the mafia and the CIA are two sides of the same coin. They're different branches of the same movement. It has to do with white power, which is the white power families. They control the CIA, like Bush had a hand in starting the CIA. They control, the different branches of government that are relative to their agenda, and they control the drug trade in the streets. But I'm not going to get into that. And part of that drug trade is the pharmaceutical industry. The scope of this series, which is, what we're going to focus on, the target of this series, rather, is to focus on psychiatry being a fraud and why. And part of that reason why is the conspiracy, we'll call it because vested interests are involved in a kind of white supremacist Nazi theology that has to do with eugenics, negative eugenics if you're going to be technical and modern about it. But I think I articulated quite well and quite thoroughly. Okay, the connections are all there. You have the confessions from mobsters who were later killed by other mobsters like Sam Giancana. You have, Hoffa and the Teamster unions. You have all kinds of different articles. You have when Gotti went to jail, he asked the Aryan Brotherhood to do a hit. You have it's just constantly out there. The mobsters saying that blacks don't deserve their share in the drug game because they're not white, and the Aryans obviously agree with them. The white power structure obviously agrees with them. The cops historically agree with them. The cops historically worked with the mob and historically oppressed blacks. I mean, you have everything you need is there. You don't really need me to get the individual sources. Common sense here is needed. Thank you. Common sense is needed here. Excuse me. Thank you.